did in college. He needs that extra edge and nastiness that I speak about often on our podcasts, someone who's just got that little bit of roughness around them, Yeah, you might get a flag now and then, but you know what? Sometimes you take that because you're putting your authority on the game. You're stamping in and you're saying, look, I ain't going to be bullied in this game. Sometimes you have to do that so teams kind of think, oh, hang on a minute, I don't want to go near him, Mm-hmm. I see him most likely, if he was to start in the NFL tomorrow, he would be a 5 technique. Purely because I don't see him as a 3 technique right now. I think he's got a lot to work on, but he could be a 3 technique, but I think he needs a lot of work. But I don't see him as a 1 technique either. I think 5 technique would suit him for his first year in the NFL. And my grade on him, I would have him go in round 5.
Okay.
I'm not sure when round 5, but I think round 5, realistically for him, purely on the basis that he would probably strictly be a 5 technique at the moment.
Okay. That sounds good. I didn't watch his tape, but I think some people like him, some people don't. So
yeah, he had good glimpses, but if you're looking for a consistency in the NFL, I don't see him flashing that enough. I think he's got good power, but I think that he tries to use that rather than technique a lot. I think he's like sort of a rough diamond. If you can get him in for a year and train him up, then the second year he might be absolutely brilliant. But I can't see him coming in day one, starting 3 technique, which is what the Raiders need.
Right.
Because that's our necessity, really, isn't it? A 3 technique who can, I say 3 technique, but obviously you need a guy who can play 3 technique and another technique. You need them to be a bit versatile.
Yeah.
But I can't see him playing 3 technique this year coming. Personally, that's just my own overview of what I watched and what I read.
All right, I got Taven Bryan. So this guy is all athlete, not a football player yet, but his upside is tremendous. His combine, he blew up the combine. We're looking for power index of 170. He had 184. Broad jump, vertical, bench press, all through the roof. And his playmaking index, which is a 1, we're looking for 1 or higher. So he's just right there. He's built like a 5 technique, 6'5", 291. But if played with the Raiders, obviously he would have to play 3 technique. His strengths from Florida, his strengths, quick off the snap, attacking player. Plays low and is not pushed off the line of scrimmage on runs. Uses long arms to bench press guards, knifes through zone blocks, has the strength and speed to collapse pocket in a flash. Like his first step quickness is ridiculous, almost like Maurice Hurst. Weakness, uses strength to get by, needs to learn to use his hands to get to QB. Pass rush moves are raw, sometimes not aware of ball carriers, more focused on the blockers than where the ball is, and needs to learn to disengage better. So sometimes I've seen plays where he's like pushing the guard, offensive guard 5 yards back, but the running back is running past by him. He doesn't even look, like he's just too focused on defeating the guard. So it's very raw. Overall summary, I have extremely quick and very strong. Can get to his spot before the O-lineman can react. Pass rush a little raw and needs to be a bit more aware, but has very high potential. Ideally a 5 tech who can play all over the line with the Raiders. Will initially fight with Mario and Vanderdoes for starting spot. And I have, just because of his upside, I have him early 2nd round grade. And we have a good D-line coach who can coach him up. But if he gets to his potential, he could be a steal there. So that's where I have him early 2nd.
Yeah, I see him fitting the Raiders, to be fair.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. I've not watched loads of tape, but I watched a little bit of tape. And obviously, when you're watching tape, you obviously go on the internet and you read about these players as well. And I just see him sort of fitting into what Gunther wants to do with his defensive line.
He can even go outside and play the defensive end spot if needed, just because of the athleticism he has.
Yeah, but don't be surprised if they move him along the line if they signed him.
Yeah, no, they will. I mentioned that. Yeah, he can play all over the line.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a sort of player who would make a instant impact. You know what I was saying about Shepherd? He's the complete opposite. Yeah. You know, you can bring him in day one, start him at free technique, move him along the line if you need to, just to be disruptive. No, I completely agree with that.
All right, who we got next?
Tim Settle.
Okay.
He's 6'3", 335 pounds. He played for Virginia Tech. He didn't have bad combine numbers. Let me check out on NFL.com, previously stated. So he's got a thick, broad lower body. He's got good agility for his size. He plays under and through edge of blockers. So he can break them quite easily. He's got good upper body power, strong ability to penetrate in two gap. He's a legitimate rusher in the pocket. This is what we're talking about, a legitimate rusher in the pocket. That's what we need. The weaknesses are his weight could be an issue if it's not maintained. Sometimes he gets out of shape, and he's overweight, and he doesn't do enough to bring it back down. But I can't see that being a problem when he goes up to the next level, because he will have to maintain it, because the Raiders or whatever team won't let him not stay on top of it. He overextends and on the ground far too often on plays. So, you're looking for these players to stay on their feet, and sometimes he's overextending on a play and he's grounded, which is not what you really want. He's inexperienced. He's only played 23 games of college football, which is not ideal, but at the same token, he could just be a late bloomer. And he needs to work on his hand technique. Often it's erratic and not, like the professionals, how they use their hands. Mm-hmm. It's, they're very good at using their hands, aren't they? Because they're taught very well how to do that. I don't think he's been taught well enough to use his hand technique to be effective on plays. So to be honest with you, although he's inexperienced and raw, in my opinion, I think he could be a natural 4-3 fit with potential to be a pass rusher. I think in terms of production from day one, I'm not sure he'd be a starter for me. Mm-hmm. But I think he could be a good rotational player. And I have around 2 to 3 grade on him. I think he will go late round 2, possibly early 3.
Okay. Does he fit the Raiders? Put he more of a pass rusher, run defender?
Yeah, I think he's more of a pass rusher, but I think that he's too inexperienced in that position to start in day one. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's got enough experience in that area to come in and start straight away. I think he's another guy who's going to need time to settle in. Pardon the pun, settle. But yeah, I think that he does need time to develop, and obviously with his technique, he needs to develop that, because that is a pivotal part of the game, is the technique. If the technique's right and you've got the ability, you'll go far. But at the moment, he's got ability, but he hasn't got experience and technique. So if he can build upon that, then I think he could be very good.
Okay. I got my next guy is Brilliant Speaks.
Okay.
I thought I'd be more higher on him than I am. He has, let me look at his measurables. Brilliant Speaks, where is he at? So he has good, some good numbers, not as, average, I guess. He's 6'3", 285, so built like a 3 technique. But if you look at his tape, he played all over the line. He doesn't have one true position, so his strengths, could be a weakness as well. Played all over the front seven, has a sense of all positions in the front seven and how to play them. Can play different positions, but will not dominate any of them. Cannot do anything, a superb level. Not a true starter in one spot, but plays all over the field. They had him play defensive tackle, defensive end, outside linebacker, inside linebacker. So I don't know what he does well, but I don't have enough film on him in any position to say where he would fit. So does not have overall does not have a true spot. Needs to be a backup for a year or two and learn one spot as he played all over the field in college. I think he's a third day guy. Day 3, maybe round 5, you can bring him in and develop him. One redshirt year, learn one position. Because he just didn't show me that he can play one position at an elite level. And I don't even have that much tape on him on the internet to show. For me, he's a round 4 or 5 guy. He can, if you need someone to come in and play the defensive end or linebacker, whatever, just to get by, he can do that as a backup and learn from a positional coach for a year. So, late round 4 maybe, round 5, late round 4. That's what I have him.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe even a bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking on the NFL draft website and they're saying round 3 or 4. I can't see that personally.
Yeah.
I think he'll be later than that. I think sometimes they boost these players way too high.
They do. I've seen that.
I can't agree with that. I mean, I've seen some of them before and I'm like, wow, like really? Like 1 or 2? And it's just like, wow, they're not even like a 4th round pick. Maybe they're doing it just to boost these guys up to boards. I don't know. But I can't see him going before round 4 at the earliest.
Yeah.
I mean, he does flash some good traits, but then, as you said, there's not enough film on him, because I looked for film on him as well. There's not enough film to watch to really get a complete feel of the player. But just based on what I did see, yeah, I agree with you, to be honest.
All right, who you got now?
I think that's it. I think we've both done Darren Payne.
Oh, you did Darren Payne too. Oh, my bad. You should have told me. I think I did yours.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, we can always compare if you like. I can always read out what I got.
I got a couple here. R.J. McIntosh and Derek Nottie. Should I just run by them real quickly?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, no worries.
R.J. McIntosh is one of the guy I really liked. This is surprising. 6'4", 286, a little tall for 3 technique, but that's what he'll play. He has good production. Quick. His strengths are quick in the phone booth on passing downs. Does not get pushed back in the run game. Quick out of the stance and stays low. Tries to knife through defense with good success rate. Hustles to the ball. So weakness. Might not be a stout against the run, mostly a 43 fit, as he's not big enough to play interior in the 34 or play as in the edge. Quick summary: a one-gap penetrator who fits as a 3 technique, can fight for the starting 3 techniques pass rushing spot, and might be exactly what the Raiders need in the interior. Has a quick first step and can get to the backfield in a hurry. Would make sense in round 3 for the Raiders. I have him an early 3rd round grade. It's overall, his pass rush is good. His ball get off is good. Run defense could be a little better. He has good effort. Just overall, I mean, he's made plays in Miami. Played the 3 technique, and he gets to the backfield fairly often. It's not elite at anything, but he's good. He can maybe with the right coach, he can become a very good player. I give
consistent.